From NBC News, this is Today with Matt Lauer and Meredith Vieira.
Let's go over to Andrew.
Chris, thanks. Do you know choosing between a latte with skim milk versus a latte with soy milk can exhaust your brain? Well, according to a new study, the simple daily decisions that we have to make, can also drain us. Here are, with some help with this today, are iVillage's and Today contributing psychiatrist Gail Saltz, along with life coach, I'm getting this out, I promise you, Dorothy Breininger, who is also the founder of the Center for Organization. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
So here's the thing. It seems as though choices, our need to make choices have increased. Would you say that's true?
Yes, and that has many benefits, right? That there's more variety and there are more options available for us. That has a real upside. But this study showed that, in fact, people should understand that there is a consequence to pay. It's not about having the choices to look at, but when you have to make the decision, that actually taxes your mind and prevents you from having more energy to do other things, other tasks,
this
even
study,
daily tasks.
When you say this study, it just came out yesterday.
Just came out in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and they looked at consumers, and they basically set up tasks where you made, say, choices in a store, and you had many choices. When you actually had to make the decision, a later task, like taking a math test or taking medicine, doing something you didn't want to do, they performed more poorly at.
Well, obviously, I mean, this makes common sense. Don't you think, Dorothy, that this would be the case? You're a psychiatrist, you deal with organization. Is there a reason why we need this, though, psychologically, to make choices?
Well, you know, America is coming to me, by the way, I'm not a psychiatrist.
Okay.
I am an organizer and life coach. But America's coming to me to say, we're suffering from the O factor, overwhelmed, overtired, and we need help. And planning in advance. 60% planning, 40% execution. If you plan first, then it's easier to execute without having to make all those choices. And when you talk about the stores, if you go from store to store for gift giving, you're wasting time. What you want to do is get something like 1-800-Flowers is something that I use. I simply jump on and I have access to all the flowers and the gifts. They have gift reminder programs. They take care of it for me.
So really we're talking about a way to kind of bring it down and make it more simple, make your life more simple, let you focus on the things that really matter by not wasting your brain energy on the things that, you know, you really don't need to go through all the choice making. So let's talk about advice on how to help people. You say define your values.
Yes. If you know what your values are in life, if you know that travel is most important to you, then that's what kind of magazines that you might reach for, clothing that you might choose to wear. It makes the choosing easier. And again, once it's done in advance. The other thing is eliminate versus accumulate. We are eliminating more by going green, and it's Earth Week. How wonderful is that? You can go to a program called DelphiVim.com and log everything, personal, medical, legal, financial, all your paperwork there. Paperwork seems to be one of the top reasons people feel overwhelmed.
You also say avoid the terrible twos, which is to have double of everything. What are you talking about there?
When I say terrible twos, I don't mean kids. I mean if you have 2 purses, 2 briefcases, 2 of anything, that increases the number of choices that you have. So if you only have 1 bag or 1 stapler on your desk, you're not searching and looking for everything. You can just make the choice and go. The more choices you have means you probably have more things to choose from right in your own home and in your office.
But what I was talking about psychologically is that I think that sometimes people have a hard time dealing with choice because they don't want to take the responsibility for making the wrong choice.
So
they're always going, there's this and this and this and this and this, and they were looking for other people in conversation to make the right choice. And they sort of
want to have everything. They kind of want to have their cake and eat it too. That's what's so difficult about making a choice. And some people are more doubters than others. So you're right. What happens is they choose, and then they perseverate over whether, in fact, they didn't get to have the other thing, and whether they made the right choice. And that's very fatiguing as well.
Right, so that just takes stuff away from you, and you want to focus all your energies on going for what you want versus dwelling in that kind of zone of indecision.
Well, you know, if you set up what you think you want in advance and commit to the choice long before it happens, especially with kids, then when the time comes, for example, you're at an amusement park, if you already know in advance before you get into the parking lot what you want to do as a family, it's going to be much easier. What kind of a family do you want to be inside that amusement park?
This is a good point too, because even positive choices, fun choices, also can be very stressful and fatiguing. So remember that too in terms of your kids. Like, don't take them shopping before the big math test, because all that decision making will actually make it harder for them to study and then perform well. So think about when you want to set up the heavy choice tasks and not back to back with something that actually is very important.
And for you yourself as a woman who feels overwhelmed by all the choice you want to make. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of have like 5 things I make really well for dinner, and I don't really kind of expand too much.
That's great.
I also like pick, you know, like I pretty much wear black and white all the time. Have you noticed? I mean, and I just throw in a few things once in a while. Just keep it simple.
Yes.
Well, and then you can do all the rest, the things that really
Well, you have
matter.
the energy to do the things that matter more to you, that are more important, and have more focus.
Dr. Gail Saltz, thank you so much, and Dorothy Breininger, who's not a psychiatrist, but a life coach, thank you so much. Both of you for some great advice this morning.
Thanks,
and you can
Sam.
find more on dealing with decisions by going on to our TodayShow.com website and also by visiting iVillage Community.